Hey everybody, how's it going? Daryl here, welcome to the channel. I recently had the opportunity to play around with the Chauvet Command ILS, as well as play with various different lights connected to it at a DJ conference. So one of my good DJ friends, Jonathan Marriott, lent me this, as well as a few Chauvet ILS lights. And so I just wanted to share a few thoughts, not so much on any piece of hardware in particular, but like the ILS ecosystem in general. But before I talk about what the Chauvet ILS ecosystem is, I want to talk about like the problem that Chauvet is trying to solve. Because I like Chauvet. Chauvet is always trying to make our lives as DJs easier. And I think most DJs understand like the value of lighting, because like lighting is like a way for us to visualize the music. It's a huge ambiance booster, and as DJs it's an opportunity for us to provide more value to our clients and make even more money. And I think a lot of different DJs understand like the power of like the various groups of lights, like movers, eye candy, uplights, dance floor washes, but the problem is controlling it all. How do you turn like these individual lighting components into a cohesive light show that flows nicely? So out of the box, DJ lights have like some standalone operation functionality. So they have like some sound active modes, some auto modes, you can set a static color, and if you have lights of the same type, you're able to like connect them together into like master-slave configuration, so one is sending the instructions to the others, and the others that are like the followers are mimicking the behavior of your master. And that is great if you only have one type of lighting fixture, but if you have various different types, like I mentioned before, like movers, eye candy pixel bars, like it can look a little bit chaotic having each light do its own thing. And so most professional lights come with DMX capabilities, and that is how you can control all of them. And there's a ton of different DMX solutions out there, hardware, software, a mix of the two. And I think for a lot of DJs, that is like more work than they're wanting to do. So this is not a perfect analogy, but I picture it like this. So imagine that you were tasked with putting like a painting on a wall as part of like the decoration for your home or whatever. You go to the store expecting to see like different like full paintings, exchange money, and have a viable painting to put on your wall. Instead, you're met with like canvases, painting supplies, and guides on how to paint. And you know, painting can be a wonderful hobby and a lifelong pursuit, but you may find yourself just wanting to buy a painting so you can just put it on your wall and be done with that project. That's kind of how DMX is for a lot of DJ companies out there. Not everybody is wanting to like delve into all the technicality that's involved with DMX programming, exploring the different solutions. So they just kind of want something that is plug and play, idiot proof, and just ready to go, you know? Not too much configuration, something that just looks nice. And that is what Chauvet is trying to accomplish with the ILS. In fact, that is something that Chauvet has already accomplished with their Gig Bar series. The Gig Bar series has various groups of lights like lasers, strobes, movers, washes, derbies, and combine them into a single light bar. And I know not everybody is a fan of the Gig Bar, but you do have to admit, like the built-in macros, the chases that come pre-packaged in the Gig Bar, kind of all utilize those different groups of lights in a nice way. The colors match together, the energy matches together with like the intensity. I still think that the Gig Bar 2 is probably one of the best lights for people that just want a plug-and-play solution and they're just getting started. What if you encapsulated like the easy workflow of the Gig Bar, but did that across your entire lighting rig? So they came up with this ILS ecosystem, which I think is actually kind of ingenious. So you just like turn on your movers, you turn on your washes, you turn on your derbies, they're all over the room, but they're just kind of all synced together and they know what they're doing. And you don't have to program any chases, you don't have to patch any addresses, and you just don't have any of the pains that you have with DMX, which is what I think they're trying to sell. So the ILS stands for Integrated Light System, meaning that the lights have like this special technology in it and they kind of just all work together. And I've seen it in the marketing materials, they've also called it like Instant Light Show. So DJ Bojax has a great review of the Chauvet ILS ecosystem, and this piece of hardware has come out since his review, because before it was just kind of like, well, if you have your Gig Bar Move ILS, you can add other fixtures and the Gig Bar Move ILS will be the brains of the operation. But not everybody wants to use a gig bar move ILS, especially if you're like into production or doing something that's not DJ related. And not all DJs like the gig bar. So they created this very nice addition to the ILS lineup. It gives you like a nice interface with buttons to be able to control things. You can adjust like the intensity, the sensitivity of the sound active mode. You can freeze the current scene. You can hit your blinders. Has like these nice knobs to control your movers. So I think that this is really cool. I think that this is a step in the right direction to make the ILS ecosystem a viable solution for DJs. But there's a few limitations with this ecosystem at the time of making this video. But this is a new product, so Chauvet may make new improvements in the future. But one of the big things is that like your macros, like your light shows, pretty limited. And I think a lot of people that have been like DJing for a while and have like a specific vision in their mind are not going to be pleased with the configurability of this. You know, I like the light shows that the gig bar can produce. I think they're actually pretty cool for what it is. Let me just put it this way. So if you like the light shows that the gig bar produces, I think that the ILS is probably a good solution for you. If you are not a fan of the light show a gig bar produces, then I'm not sure you're going to like the macros that the ILS has. It's worth mentioning that you do get more manual input when you use the ILS command for like that on-the-fly control. But for me, in my style, I mostly just want to leave the lighting hands off and just kind of have it run itself, with the occasional setting a static scene during like cocktail hour and the formalities and letting it go in full party mode, maybe hitting the strobe on the drop. So the ILS ecosystem arguably started as a gig bar supplement system. And while Chauvet is wise trying to move away from this model and to make this more of a complete light show, it still has signs that it is very gig bar centric. Like functionality that you can't find on the gig bar move is not present in this ILS ecosystem. So such functionality as like mover prisms, mover rotations aren't present because the gig bar move ILS doesn't support that. And pixel style animations that you see even like lights like the Freedom Sticks or the Chauvet Well Sticks 180s doesn't exist. And the great thing about using DMX is that you can use any light out there as long as it's DMX capable. Doesn't matter whether it's both lighting, ADJ, or Chauvet. But within the ILS ecosystem, you are very limited with the lights that you can use. Also worth mentioning, Chauvet does have a DMX solution, ShowXpress. It's really nice. It's very powerful because you can configure it to do whatever you want. Very customizable, but it is a little bit technical, and it does take quite a bit of work like setting it all up. But with a DMX solution, you can use any light you want and use any of the functionality that's built into the fixture. In fact, within the ILS ecosystem, the window of lights that are available to be used is really narrow. Like some of my favorite Chauvet lights, like the wash effects, any of their movers that's over 60 watts, and the newly revamped Freedom Sticks are noticeably missing within the ILS lineup. And if Chauvet does anything right, they make it pretty easy to know which lights are compatible or not compatible. They're appended with the word ILS at the end of their title, and they have a really nice web page showing all of the lights that are available within the ecosystem. But I have noticed too that you do pay more for the lights that have this ILS capability. And so I really like the plug and play nature of the gig bar, and I can appreciate they're trying to like recapture that workflow with an entire lighting rig. And I do commend Chauvet for eliminating the need within the solution to like patch and address your lights. I'm just not quite sure why all of the lights don't come in with a built-in wireless system, you know? Some of the lights have a built-in like DeFi transceiver, but a lot of them you have to have additional hardware. Like this LED Strober 2 ILS. Oh, Shadow. This does not have a built-in transceiver. You have to have an additional piece of hardware to connect to this wirelessly. You have to have a DeFi USB. And in my experience, I've found that more people have trouble with connecting things wirelessly than they do with patching and addressing their fixtures. So I think Chauvet correctly identifies the issue that a lot of DJs have. They just want to have different groups of lights that just kind of work harmoniously without a ton of pre-configuration, none of the technical headache. But does Chauvet really deliver on that? And they do have a working solution, but I'd use one word to sum it all up. Limited. You're limited to which fixtures you can use. You're limited with the amount of control and customization you have, and the higher price of ILS-enabled fixtures may be a limitation to some. Personally, the limitations are just too great for this to be a working solution for me. And I feel like that there's a little incentive for companies that have a working solution to switch over and invest in the ILS ecosystem. So I'm only talking about the state of ILS at the time of making this video. They may make new improvements. Like I mentioned, Mojax reviewed it like a year ago, and they've already made a ton of progress since then. But this is just my take on it at the time of making this video, what is currently available. So what are your guys' thoughts on Chauvet ILS? Let me know down in the comments below, and please smash like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.